hello, and welcome back to this. If I look and sound like I'm dying, it's because we're all dying, but it's also because I'm sick. So today I want to talk about Divergent. It's a book. It's also a movie. It's also an adjective. I really just want to talk about the movie though. Well, and the book a little bit. I did not reread Divergent right before watching the movie, so I've probably forgotten most of the specific details, but I remember pretty much the general idea. Let's watch this movie, guys. Let's do it.
We're lucky to be in the city. Our founders built the wall to keep us safe, and they divided us into 5 groups, factions, to keep the peace.
So the whole population of the city is divided into 5 groups. You can either be brave, honest, smart, kind, or Amish.
We lead a simple life.
And if you're none of those things, then you're factionless, which is basically like being homeless. So our main character, Triss, is part of the Amish faction. They're actually called abnegation. They value selflessness, and they reject vanity, like they're not allowed to use mirrors. And also, nobody really likes the abnegation faction.
You're a liar. Why are you lying to me? I'm talking to you. Are all you stiffs deaf or something? Hey!
Also, the only mode of transportation in the city is this train, but it's a train that never stops, so the only people who are able to use it are Dauntless, which is the brave faction, because you literally have to risk your life every time you get off the train. So Triss goes to take the test that's supposed to tell you what faction you're supposed to be in based on, like, science, but when she does it, she actually tests positive for 3 factions.
No, but what was my result? Abnegation, and erudite, and dauntless.
And that is bad news bears.
You can't tell anyone about this, not even your parents. They call it Divergent.
And then the next day they have this ceremony where they choose what faction they're going to be in for the rest of their life. And the way they do this is by cutting their hand open with this rusty knife that they all share and squeezing their blood into one of these bird bath looking things to indicate which faction they want to be in. Yeah, so here's the thing. If this were me, if I lived in the Divergent world, you know, I'd go through my first 16 years of life, no problem, be in whatever faction I was in, and as soon as this thing comes around, I'd be like, well, you know what, mom, dad, friends, society, it's been real, it's been great, but I'm not doing that, so guess I'm just gonna go live in the woods, or be homeless, or factionless, or whatever. Literally anything is preferable to this. So they can either choose to stay with their own faction, or switch to a different one, but if you do switch to a different one, you can, like, never talk to your family ever again, so, like, it's kind of a big deal. So, like, this kid switches from Candor, the honesty faction, to Amity, which is the kindness faction. I know his mom is devastated and all, but really what did she expect? He's probably tired of everyone being brutally honest to him all the time. He probably just wants to go somewhere where people are nice and live cooperatively and grow their own food and everybody's friends. Honestly, I think Amity have it all figured out. You don't need the other factions. Everyone should just go be Amity. That's just my opinion. So Triss decides to join Dauntless, which is the brave faction, and also her brother, Caleb, chooses to join Erudite, which is the smart faction, and it's kind of an extra big deal for their family because everybody already hates the abnegation faction, so it's not a great look for them. Oh right, and we also meet Janine, who yes is played by Kate Winslet. She's the leader of the Erudite faction, and she sucks. The abnegation faction is in charge of the government for the whole city, but Janine thinks that she and her faction should be in charge of the government, so she's been up to some kind of shady stuff.
We need to find out who's behind these rumors.
I think we all know who it is.
Wow, that was pretty savage and not very self-sacrificing of you, Triss's mom. Great, so Triss goes off to the Dauntless faction, and they meet this guy who eventually becomes her love interest. His name is 4.
4, like the number?
Like the number.
What happened? 1 through 3 were taken?
And he's kind of a dick.
Were you a transfer too?
What makes you think you can talk to me?
Okay, I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion or not, but I hate their relationship. I hate the fact that he basically treats her like garbage the entire time that he knows her, and he only stops treating her like garbage when he realizes that he's into her. Like, this whole trope of, oh, if someone's mean to you, it's actually because they like you, is terrible. I do not think this is the kind of relationship we should be normalizing. Again, if Amity were the only faction, if they were in charge, people would be nicer to each other and this probably wouldn't happen. I'm just saying. So Triss starts her training and they go through the simulation that just shows you all of your worst fears.
You're gonna be facing your worst fears, Triss.
Most people have 10 to 15 really bad ones.
I wonder if that's true. I wonder if that's based on anything, that like most people have 10 to 15 actual fears, or if that's just like a random number they came up with. How many fears do I have? What am I afraid of? Let's see. Drowning, I'm afraid of heights, clowns, guns, death, just like in general, police officers, dismemberment, needles, climate change. I'm afraid of bees, but I'm also afraid of like bees going extinct. I guess that's two things. I'm afraid of like 80% of Black Mirror episodes coming true. I'm gonna count that as one, even though that's probably like 20. Electrocution, being unemployed forever, falling into the subway tracks. I'm afraid that I will one day sign up for a class, forget that I've signed up for the class, not show up all semester, and then automatically fail because I never showed up. That is a real thing that happened to me once, so I'm afraid of it happening again. I have this recurring dream where I'm in the back seat of a car, and there's no one driving the car, but the car is moving, and I'm trying to get up to the front seat so I can drive the car, but I can't. So just that general situation. Abandonment, I guess? I guess I wouldn't make it in the Dauntless faction very long. At one point, they find out that Janine has been spreading some rumors about abnegation in the newspaper.
Yeah, you're in the news. The recent transfers of Beatrice and Caleb Pryor call in to question the soundness of abnegation's teachings and values.
You know, I wonder which faction writes the newspaper. Like, maybe it's erudite because they're the smartest, so they're good at research. Or maybe it's candor because they're honest, so they can be objective. Or maybe they share it, but I kind of doubt that because it doesn't really seem like the different factions really get along with each other. Like, one thing that's not really made clear in the movie is, like, who does all the different jobs in this society? Like, some of the things are laid out right away. Like, we know that abnegation runs the government, and we know that Dauntless are soldiers, candor run the court system. But what about all the other jobs? What about this character, Tori, who's in the Dauntless faction? Her job is to run the faction tests, but also she's a tattoo artist. Is she like a freelancer? Right, so anyway. So Triss then goes down to the erudite faction to warn her brother that Janine is up to no good, and it doesn't really go so well for her, or for him, or for anyone.
I need you to come with me.
This is actually one of my fears that I forgot to mention earlier, is being in a public place and an official looking person comes up to me and says, "You need to come with me." I don't know what number we're on. Anyway, most of the rest of the movie is a lot of this, and a lot of this. The plot really picks up again when Eric gives everyone these injections, which he says is a tracking device, but is actually like a mind control device.
They can see and hear us. They just don't process it the same way.
But surprise, the mind control doesn't work on Triss because she's Divergent, and so is 4, apparently, and so is this guy.
What are we doing?
Divergent.
Who's not very sneaky about it, so he just gets killed right away. The mind control thing is being controlled by Janine, surprising no one, who's using it to make the Dauntless people kill all of the abnegation people because she just really, really wants to run the government, I guess. And since Triss and 4 are the only ones not under the mind control, they go stop Janine from killing more people, and that's it. That's the movie. Honestly, this movie didn't suck. I initially was only going to talk about just this movie, but I ended up watching all 3 movies, which was... I will get to talking about the other 2 soon. So, yeah, maybe you should subscribe if you want. I can't tell you what to do. I'm not here to tell you how to live your life, but if it were me, I would subscribe to my channel.
I keep forgetting to say thank you for watching at the end when I record. But for real, thank you.
Bye!